All right, let's get this thing started. Welcome everybody. Dennis Cogwell, Joshua Tree Conference Group, and we are here for Battle the Bots. We have 8 companies joining us today. Well, let's just jump in. Let's hear from them on what they do and what it is. So first question, what's your bot's name and what's its primary goal? Let's throw this one to Robert Turnbull.
Yeah, so the company name is BetterBot. Our goal is to get rid of 80% of the low reward, menial, repetitive tasks that our leasing team is having to do all across the country right now.
Awesome. Larry?
Hi, Lease Hawk. Our product is called ACE, and the primary goal of ACE is to help with the top of the funnel leasing activities where there's a greater mix of the high quality lead activity and low quality lead activity so that we can help the leasing agents focus more on the high value activities and less on the low value, which ultimately is going to result in an improved leasing velocity.
Sounds good. Stacy?
So her name is Lisa, and she's way more than a bot. She is really part of a leasing team. Her primary goal is to automate the customer's marketing and leasing workflows. So those leasing teams can, just like everyone else, spend time on what's more important while driving up NOI and occupancy at the same time.
Fantastic. Ellen?
ResPage has Rentron, which is our chatbot, and we also have ResMate, which is an end-to-end leasing solution. So Rentron's job is to help get more qualified leads and tours scheduled directly from the website. And ResMate, which you can name anything, is designed to nurture leads and automate the process from first touch all the way through application.
Fantastic. Perry?
Yeah, we're different. We call our AI listing assistant Leah. Leah's job is to automate the entire leasing funnel, driving conversion rate up and freeing up the leasing team to do the challenging tasks.
Awesome. Matt?
Yeah, at Meet a Lease, our clients choose their own individual AI names that represent their community. And the goal is to replicate human conversation and tasks associated with leasing to automate the experience, right? So that our on-site team members focus their energy on the experience itself.
Paul?
Yeah, so the product name is Rent Cafe Chat IQ, but like others said, clients can name the bot to match the property. The goal is really deliver those quality and qualified leads and appointments, handle as much of the top of the funnel and early stage communication as possible.
Fantastic. Todd?
Yeah, so Anyone Home and our chatbot product is called Concierge. The goal of it is really aligns with our company goal, which is to allow the consumer to trade in their own currency, how they want to act. So Concierge provides another avenue to create really good engagement, however they want to communicate, whether it's automated or human.
Fantastic. So how would you define BetterBot? As a widget, a smart form, or a bot?
Well, most of ours is enabled through a widget. So you click on the widget. So that could be on the left side, the top, the right side. But when you click on it, it is actually a bot. It is a true bot experience. So it's incorporating all the information like Matterport tours and appointment types are all actually inherently inside the bot experience versus popping out to something else.
Yeah, Dennis, I'd say anything sitting on a website is going to be within a widget. And then it's a matter of, is it sort of button click and following down a path, and or, can you free form ask it questions? Can you chat with it, right?
Perry?
Yeah, I would agree with everyone that's been talking about it. It really doesn't matter what the difference is, but if people are looking just to inform themselves and educate themselves, the widget is some kind of element that you're going to see on your website that you can interact with that's going to then give you some kind of a desired outcome. We see a bot as something that provides a little bit more intelligence, that provides a lot more flexibility in the user interaction, whereas a form is a little bit more of a constrained, very specific, use case specific type of a scenario that you're trying to support.
And which one are you, Larry?
ACE is a bot. We support multiple channels, and so when you're launching an ACE conversation on a website, that is triggered through a widget. But for text-based interactions or voice-based interactions where you're calling somebody on the phone, interacting from your smartphone, there is no widget involved. That's just you interacting with the bot directly.
Perry, what about your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'll be more technical. So yeah, as everyone said here, Widget would be website component layered on top of the website content, and the purpose of engaging with the website visitor. As a smart form, the way I see it is a guided form which generates the next steps in the process based on the user's previous actions. While a bot, the purpose of a bot is to mimic a repetitive human task and use NLP to drive the conversation forward and reach the next steps.
Difference between a widget, smart form, and a bot, and ultimately, which one are you? Let's go to Stacy.
It is all about the customer experience. You know, as a conversational artificial intelligence, Lisa is fundamentally different. She's equipped to pivot when she receives new information. She remembers everything through the entire conversation. Therefore, whether the experience is starting at a website or starting from a phone call or a text message, she uses natural language processing to actually understand what the prospects are asking for and the best way to respond, whether that's answering a question or scheduling an appointment.
Okay. I'll go next. I think of a widget as a delivery system, sort of a technical foundation, and a smart form is a way to have a guided conversation. You can also do that in a bot. I think a bot has more flexibility because you can create a guided conversation, or you can use natural language processing in that bot. So I really view smart forms and bots as delivery vehicles, and they're both using AI. I think back in the 80s, expert systems were the first AI, and it really is just using a computer to kind of just, it's like a decision tree. Are you going to go to X or Y? And so you can program that in a smart form or a bot. And
Matt? Oh, sorry. Ellen, go ahead. Say it again.
Res page is a bot.
Awesome. Matt, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Meet falls into another category maybe that's important to talk about, which is the virtual assistant, right? Very different than lead gen and initial engagement. The virtual assistant works hand in hand with the prospect and the on-site team as a true assistant to move the prospect through the process beyond just that initial lead. So a little bit more robust, handling a lot more beyond just the conversation and actually replicating the tasks within our systems to complete the interaction.
Great. Todd?
So Concierge is a bot, and it's typically delivered or often delivered through a website widget. But that being said, it lives offsite. So it's delivered through SMS, it's delivered through email, it's a core part of our CRM. So it's part of our ecosystem, which includes, a plethora of products, the bot or Concierge being one really interesting part of that.
Okay. Next question, I'd like you guys to each take about a minute. So go a little bit deeper and describe, we've touched on very high level pieces of it, right? And it's kind of like, I'm excited. So what is the difference? What is the technology? What it is you say you do? So walk me through what type of technology your bot uses. Someone mentioned natural language processing, live chat. We got some artificial intelligence, virtual assistant. So give me a little bit more in depth and go ahead and use a full minute for this. So let's kick this off with Ellen.
So our ResPage chatbot is a natural language processing product. We started in 2017 and quickly pivoted to natural language processing. So we've been learning through millions of conversations, and we've gotten really good at natural language processing. However, sometimes when you have natural language processing, you can't answer all the questions. We're basically integrating with property management systems, and if that information resides there, then we can answer the questions very accurately. And we do actually have a guided conversation buttons as well. We also have a human handoff so that if the bot, it can answer a question, it's very good at knowing when it can't, it can hand off to human being. And so we have a new product called ResMate, which is an end-to-end solution using the same learnings in natural language processing, but creating an automation and communication to replace leasing agents. So the prospect gets in touch with you via email at 11 o'clock at night. The bot can respond. If you ask 5 questions in an email, it can understand the 5 questions and it can give a rich response. And then it nurtures that lead through the tour, making sure they show up for the tour, and then all the way through the application, following up. So it's using natural language processing, but it's also just using automation to understand at what stage that prospect is and pushing them to the next stage all the way to the application.
Fantastic. Right at a minute. Perfect. Perry, what about you?
I don't know if I could go a full minute, but let's see. Our product is Leah, the virtual AI assistant. It uses multiple set of technologies. The main one would be NLP, and another name for it would be conversational AI to automate the leasing process. But more than that, we also use keyword recognition and sentiment analysis to understand the urgency of certain matters and know when to hand off in certain scenarios. We also use AI and supervised learning and unsupervised learning to produce insights from the interactions, thousands of interactions we see every day for the property. And that way, we integrate it back to the product, both manually or automatically, iteratively, to improve the leasing funnel and process.
Thank you. Matt, what type of technology do you guys use?
Yeah, I guess at the surface, the most important in terms of the customer experience is natural language processing, right? This is what we're using to drive really human-like interactions, very natural interactions with prospective residents. Behind the scenes, right, there's a lot that's going on in terms of integrations, automation that allows us and allows our AI to complete some of the other tasks not related to communication. But ultimately, natural language processing is what drives the engine, right? It's what allows these prospective residents to engage with something that they think, for the most part, is a real human being. It allows our AI to thoroughly understand complex questions and reply back in very complex ways. Yeah, NLP.
All right, Stacy?
So Lisa uses natural language processing, conversational AI. Think of Alexa. You can ask her anything that you need to ask her, and based on what she knows, listening to millions of conversations, she will respond in a conversational way. So whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning and a prospective resident's having a conversation, it could be Lisa or it could be a human being, and the experience is the same. The important thing when using technologies such as Lisa and others is when to have that expertise interaction to have that great customer experience. So if Lisa doesn't understand or it's a more complex question, the leasing agents and other humans can be involved to help continue that great customer experience and not have it be like that automated yes, no, bot type of answer.
Okay. Todd?
So I think when we looked at this, we decided that I've never met a human that hasn't screamed representative into their phone, or at least not yet. So we decided to do a decision tree product, mostly because we take 1 million leasing inquiries a month, whether it's chat, SMS, email, or phone. So we knew we could back up our bot with a live human 24/7 and allow them to engage in any way the prospect wants to engage, whether they continue with chat or go to SMS or phone or email. So we did a decision tree for that reason. While we're looking at some NLP for this year, we continue to learn a lot and actually see where bots fail that are natural language processing, particularly in terms of like security questions, like fair housing related stuff or liability related stuff. So we're very happy with the results, and we're seeing really good results for our customers as Concierge lives within our greater ecosystem.
Larry?
ACE uses a number of different technologies. When prospects call a leasing office on the phone, we have a number of proprietary machine learning models that are analyzing and categorizing that call, whether a human picks up the call or whether ACE, our virtual leasing assistant, picks up the call herself. If ACE is going to be having that conversation, it is going to be an experience very similar to how you are talking to your technology, whether that be your smart home speakers or Alexa or Google Home powered type of technology. And so she will leverage the text to voice synthesis and NLP to be able to have natural human-like conversations with people while they're on the phone. If they're on the move and just want to talk to somebody, get their questions answered, that can be a conversation much like how humans communicate with each other. If ACE is interacting with you on a chat interface, we're also leveraging natural language processing to allow you to have human-like conversations where you can type in your answers or speak your answers into the freeform text field. If you prefer more of a guided conversation, or you need a little bit of an icebreaker because you're not sure how to interact with the bot, the ACE chatbot is supplemented with guided conversation recommendations so that you can click around a little bit and ask questions by clicking on buttons. And then when ACE gives her response, she can provide supplemental recommendations for commonly asked questions.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a minute. So good. So good. We're going to respect the time. Yeah.
I appreciate you keeping me honest, man.
No worries. Paul, you're next.
Yeah, so Rent Cafe Chat IQ is a hybrid. So for web chats, for text, you really need that guided conversation, right? Click here to schedule, press 1 for this, but you also need that natural language processing, natural language understanding to enable that free form chat to handle emails. And we also have an agent handoff. You need a very obvious and blatant handoff to the property if they're available, but also what if they're not, right? You don't want to build up all this equity and all this dialogue and then have it go to nothing if nobody's there to pick it up. So really having the guided conversation with the natural language processing and a true agent handoff, whether it's call center agent or the property team, is what we're delivering.
Fantastic. Robert?
So I'll be the odd man in the group here. So 4 years ago, BetterBot built out what was the largest proprietary multifamily natural language processing engine. And we put in tons and tons of industry lexicon and language specific to multifamily. The challenge that we had is that we had a 30% failure rate. It sounds great, 70% success rate, but it was a 30% failure rate, and your biggest engines in the world, whether it be IBM Watson, GetJenny, Chatfuel, Robotify, all are failing at a 30% rate. That's considered very good. So we made a very tough decision 3 years ago to move into guided conversation. And it's funny because we use the term natural language processing. We still use natural language. We just don't process it. We use intents. And the intent makes a big difference. And once we made that switch, we had a next to 0% failure rate. The consumer wasn't being confused, and our results were 5x. So we were getting significantly more completions, appointments, and so forth. And you'll see most of your biggest generalist bots like Drift and Intercom are now moving away from natural language and moving into guided conversation.
Awesome. Thank you. Follow-up question. This is going to be a show of hands question. So take in your data sets, the amount of usage, show of hands where the majority of the usage for your solution is after hours. So between closed office and open office the next morning, who has more after hours interactions? We got 1, 2, 1.5. All right, that's good. It kind of builds into the next question, which is, is the goal for bots to replace the humans, take over the leasing office headcount? And what are your clients saying? Why are they choosing you, and what are you providing? So a lot baked in there, but let's go and kick it off. We'll just maybe we'll try reverse order. Robert.
Do I think it's going to replace humans? No, I don't. Not anytime soon. I know some folks would like for that to happen. Right now, we've created such a mess with so many leads coming in that we have a 34% attrition rate of leasing staff right now. The number one reason given, they're overwhelmed. So we want to take some of that low reward menial stuff, repetitive things off their plate, and let them go back to what they do best: be humans, have an empathetic conversation with consumers, and don't worry about the repetitive stuff.
What are the clients saying? Are they agreeing with that they're just trying to load balance the on-site staff time?
Yeah, I think so. And I think when we show that the bots, participating on an average of 4 leases a month and saving 80 hours per property per month, they're realizing they're getting a significant time savings back to their leasing staff.
Paul?
Yeah, I'd say some humans, but not all, right? You still need that human touch. There's still things the bot can't do. The bot can't shake your hand, can't get you in the apartment, for your move-in day. But a lot of clients are looking to, group and cluster properties together. And where can they, be more effective with their expenses and their spend? And, can you lower headcount by having good bots in place? And I think the answer is yes, but never replacing all humans. That'll never be the case.
Larry?
ACE's goal is not to replace humans, but to help the leasing staff become more effective with what they're doing, allowing them to focus on the more complex tasks and let the technology handle the more mundane. A common scenario that we're finding is just the biggest challenge has been a pervasive multi-year challenge of people not being able to answer the phone because they're so busy. So ACE goes to work answering the phone, and the leasing agents can focus more on resident experience type things and making sure everybody has a great experience when they're staying at that community. And because in most cases, a renewed lease is more valuable than trying to find a new lease. And so focusing more on the resident experience, focusing more on the complex tasks associated with the leasing process, and letting the bot do more of the mundane tasks is where ACE is focused. And as technology continues to get better and bots are able to do more, just the role of the leasing staff is just going to change and morph over time. You're still going to need humans, because at the end of the day, this is I mean, the human connection is a big part of the living experience in most communities.
So Stacy, Lisa's got a name. It sounds like a leasing agent, ironically. Is it going to replace the leasing staff? What are your thoughts?
No, not at all. If you look at our industry today, I think one of the most common challenges we all have is hiring and maintaining really good talent. And if you look at the younger generations of the talent that we're hiring today, they expect technology to be able to enable them to do their best work. And we're not hiring people to answer phones today. We're not hiring based on a resume of quick responses to emails. We're hiring people so that they can close deals, so that they can have that social part of the job and really engage the community. This is what Lisa will help with. She will do all of the things so that these other people can actually do the work that they were hired to do in the first place.
Todd?
So I think the right way to look at this is not focusing on your customer, but your customer's customer. And that's how you create the best situation. So this reminds me of last year when everyone was talking about, well, do I do guided tours or self-guided tours? The answer is yes. They actually convert to lease about the same, but when you combine both of them, your conversion rate increases 38%. The same is true of concierge. So it doesn't necessarily replace a human, nor should it. One of our NMHC top 50 clients who deployed this, once they added concierge, so they had 24/7 human contact and 24/7 chatbot content, their conversion from tour to lease increased 16% almost. So it's giving the consumer choice. It's not making them, do it one way because you simply can't offer another.
Ellen?
Our philosophy is in alignment with most of the customer conversations we're having, which is that the leasing agent isn't going away anytime soon. So talking with someone yesterday, property that gets 1,000 leads a month, and they have 5 leasing agents, but they're just overwhelmed. And so they're looking to use bots and AI leasing tools to just make sure that they're getting back to people in a timely manner. So their goal is to get back to folks within 1 or 2 hours, and their average response time is 6 hours. And so this is just not great. And how they see the future is they see having AI leasing allow some of the things that have been centralized to go back to the property, for instance, social media and reputation management, outreach, and also just improving resident retention. So we see AI leasing as a way to enable more NOI and allow those leasing people to be redeployed to increase NOI.
Perry?
Yeah, so Leah, although she is charming, she won't replace our charm and the human touch anytime soon. Our focus is different, is to have seamless integration and cooperation between our agents and human agents out there. And leasing agents has the highest turnover rate for this property management industry. So I think together and with the insights that Leah provides and with the repetitive tasks that are taken off the desk for the leasing agent, our clients agree with us that this is the way to go and this is how the future is going to look like.
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect that a chatbot or a widget or a smart form replaces anybody, right? I feel very confident saying that automation will impact the way that we think about staffing our communities. This is the way that we're moving, and it's an efficient and better experience for all parties involved. That being said, I think very much the same way others have mentioned, the role of AI is to work in tandem with our on-site teams, right? We don't hire people to be taskmasters. We hire them because our hope is that they're going to wow our customers. They're going to wow our prospective residents because they're incredible sales and customer service people. The role of AI is to jump in and say, hey, get from behind the desk. You can do that now. We're liberating you from emails. Now you can go onto the floor. Now you can really do what you were designed to, right? Where you were hired to do, which is wow our customers. That's where your strengths are. And so that's very much a part of it. I think everybody has said there's that special piece that can't be replaced, and that is still very necessary. But I would say definitively, automation will certainly impact the way that we think about staffing and how we staff our communities in the future.
So I think the big takeaway from this is that it's more additive than it is a replacement. I think that is the consensus. 2 more questions to go here. What is the next product on your roadmap for this product or feature that you're adding to it? So a little piece of innovation, but what's next coming up for your solution? Robert?
I get so excited about this part. I'll be honest, 2-3 years ago, when we started building out BetterBot, we had kind of a finite view of what automation and bot technology could do. In the last 2 years, we've realized it can do a lot more. It provides a 3-dimensional model around data. Some sources, for example, are great at sending traffic, but why is that traffic not convert? Why is it that Google My Business and Yelp and Instagram and Facebook, you can get traffic from some of these sources, but do they convert really well? Some better than others. The trick is everyone's looking at 2 dimensions. So they're just looking at data coming in and saying, oh, okay, they provided traffic. What happens when the traffic comes through and suddenly you can see levels of engagement? Did they have a conversation? Did they actually become a lead? Did they become an appointment? Did they become a lease? And now you can, through automation technology, provide a three-dimensional view, multi-touch attribution, and the renter's journey, all through using these automation technologies. So we're creating what we call a 4D view of effectiveness relative to marketing.
So you've cracked multi-touch attribution?
Let me clarify, the answer is no. We have not cracked it yet, but we now know that we have the tools to do so, and that is what we are working fervently on doing. Thank you for qualifying that, Dennis.
Hey, my pleasure. Awesome. A lot of great information here in this session about Battle of the Bots, and I want to thank everyone for joining us and carving out the time. There's more questions. What does this cost? What do I need to do? What's the differences? So reach out to everyone. We're going to put the contact information here in the chat. We'll also have in the recap that we're going to launch next week. And thank you everyone for carving the time and joining us for this session. Thanks.